Hey everybody, it's me Jessica, your health fitness program manager from McLean, and I'm here today to get you through your core and stretch class. I do apologize as they are fixing some plumbing issues here today, so you might hear some drilling in the background. That's okay. We're gonna have a great time no matter what. You don't actually need any equipment for today's class. You just need some space for yourself where you will be able to stretch out. We are starting class low on the floor, and we're gonna finish class with just one standing posture today. We've only got one plank coming up. I would say if you would like to create a little bit of an extra challenge, that for round two, if you happen to have a band that you can use to put around your legs, you can definitely challenge yourself a little bit more with the band. If you don't have one, that's totally okay. We're still gonna bring the challenge. We're gonna get started on the floor in 2 minutes with wind removing pose. So if you wanna lay down first, you are welcome to. You know, we might even start with a quick Savasana, just to get into our breath and into our space. So do whatever you need to do. Make it smell good around here. Oh, feed your nasty birds. Whatever works. Here you go. Oh, Miss Nasty Bird, you're being very nasty. It makes me scared. I don't like a nasty bird. I like a nice lady. You got water, you got peanuts. You're fine, leave me alone. All right, so officially starting in 1 minute. No official water breaks during this class. However, if you need water, please help yourself to it. Let's get on the floor together, guys and gals and people and pets and whoever is joining us for today's movement session. Yay! All right, so making your way down onto whatever space you're working with today, I want you to carefully lower yourself all the way down. Extend your legs out in front of you. Bring your heels as close together as feels good. Allow your toes to fall open. If your lower back is hurting and it's uncomfortable for you to extend your legs in front of you, take a moment and just bend your knees. Take that little tuck of your pelvis so that you can really relax your lower back on the floor. And let's start with just a couple deep breaths here, whether you have your knees bent or your legs extended. Work towards using your exhale to just let it go. Anything that you might be thinking about that you have to deal with personally or work projects, I promise you, they're all still going to be there in 29 more minutes when we finish this class. So right now, just focus on your breath, on relaxing, on the delightful sounds of drilling and creating shapes the best you can. All right, bring your heels together to touch, just in case you did not have those legs together. Take a moment, flex your toes up towards your face so you're in as straight of a line as you can be. Keep your left leg where it is, even if it looks like I'm doing the opposite. Make sure you start with your right leg and we're going to draw it up. Pull it all the way out towards the side. So you're avoiding your belly and your rib cage as you reach and interlace all 10 of your fingers on top of your shin. Get it all the way up to the webbing in a nice anti-arthritic grip. And if your left shoulder rolls off of the mat, take a moment, roll that left shoulder back towards the mat. Your knee probably drew closer to your chest, and that's okay because now we're going to apply some pressure. Start to pull. Pull your knee and the quad towards your belly while also pressing your shin into your hands, palms. Equal opposite contraction. Your biceps might even start to tremble. I want you to keep a gentle tuck of your chin to your chest so as much of the back of your head and neck is flat on the mat. You might even feel a pinching compression sensation in your lower right abdomen. That is your ascending colon. Stretch your elbows towards your hips. Take one more deep inhale. And on your exhale, go ahead and release. Legs down, arms down, back to our Savasana. Heels close towards each other. Keep your right leg where it is and draw that left leg up. Pull it out, avoiding your rib cage, and interlace all 10 fingers all the way up to the webbing. Have your flat fingers pressed against your shin, so no cupping of the hands. And if your right shoulder rolled off the mat, bring your right shoulder back towards the mat. The best that you can with the body you have today. If it doesn't quite touch, that is okay. If your right calf muscle's not touching the floor, really work to flex those toes back towards your face. Find a little more engagement through that right side of the body, and then start to pull. Pull your quad towards your rib cage. Knee comes towards your armpit as you push your shin into your hands, palms. It's really the pushing of the shin while pulling that brings you that pinching compression sensation. This time on the left side in the lower left abdomen, that is your descending colon. Stretch your elbows towards your hips to get those shoulders away from your ears. Gentle tucking of the chin to get as much of your neck and back flat on the mat. Straighten out your hips the best that you can here. Take one more deep inhale, and on your exhale, gently let it go. This time we're going to bring both knees up towards our chest. You can bring them up one at a time. I like to keep my head down on the floor because we're working to really find that length. But if you want to, if it's really important or a goal of yours to reach your opposite elbow, you can round up and work towards grabbing your opposite elbow and then carefully release yourself back down on the floor. If that's keeping yourself from being relaxed on the floor, separate your grip a little bit. Maybe you grab hold of your opposite wrist, or maybe just fingers. Feet are flat side by side, so resist the urge to cross your legs. You can even just have one shin on each of your hands. Can you squeeze those thighs in towards each other so you get a little bit of compression onto your belly? Lower back still glued down towards the mat. Press your knees towards your chest. Press your shins into your hands, palms, and create as much length as you can through the crown of your head. Make sure that lower back is still on the floor. Take one more big inhale. And on your exhale, release. You can keep those knees bent as they come down towards the mat. Next up, we're going to work into 3 different ab moves. So our first ab move is going to be knee drops. So bringing your legs up into tabletop, you're going to drop your legs over to one side, bring them right back in, drop your legs over to the other side. If you want to work a little bit harder, if it feels good for you, you can do this same thing with straight legs and just enjoy the range of motion that works for your body today. So we're going to get 30 seconds of knee drops, maybe even one time you drop to the side, bring it back in towards the other side for just a little bit of a different feel. If you're a little more advanced, or just keep with those knee drops. And then we're going to come into a runner's crunch. So opposite elbow comes towards knee, lower down, elbow towards knee. I'm keeping one heel down on the floor to gently apply a little pressure into that heel to help me lift up. If you need to, you can always sit up, make it a little bit easier for yourself, and just rotate through your core with that belly drawn in and a nice flat back. Our third move is going to be leg raises. So lowering yourself all the way down, we're just going to lower those legs as close to the floor as we possibly can. without our lower backs lifting, and lift them back up. If your lower back's arching off of the mat, you get to do the same thing, just tapping your toes, and if you need something easier, you're just lifting one leg up at a time. There's something for everyone. We got 2 rounds through. We're doing 30 seconds of work. We got a 5-second transition, and after you do all 3 moves, you get a 30-second break. You're welcome. Okay, so lay down. Let's get ready for those knee drops or straight leg drops to the side. They start in 3, 2, 1. Begin. Stretching your arms out to the side is going to help you feel a little bit more balanced as you tick-tock over here. I wish I didn't bring this bolster to the party earlier in the week. It's limited my range of motion. I want you to really keep that belly pulled in so you're not just swinging those legs. It's a controlled motion to roll up through center. Remember, you can straighten your legs and see how that makes it a little bit more challenging. Awesome. 5 seconds break. Next up, we got that runner's crunch. Here we go. Really working to bring the opposite elbow to the knee, controlling on the way up and on the way down. So I'm not just sinking down towards the floor. Remember, if you need to, you can just stay right up here with that little lean in your chest and just work towards tapping your opposite elbow towards your knee. Even bringing that arm behind you, just like a runner would. Yes. 5-second break. Next up, we've got those leg raises. So lower yourself all the way down. Legs up. Here we go. So you can have your thumbs under your bum to help you keep that lower back on the mat, or challenge yourself a little bit more. Extend those arms all the way out to the side. You're only going as low as you can while you still feel contact of your lower back towards the mat. So if your lower back starts to lift right here, you just bring it straight back up towards the ceiling. It's okay if you have a bend in your knees. Yay, take that 30-second break, and we're gonna come right back in with our knee drops. After this break, take your break, maybe you windshield wipe a little bit through the legs, start to bring a little relief into those hips, glutes. Maybe you think about how badly you need to change the bird's paper. I mean, all of these things. Fred gave herself a bath this morning and wet newspaper. Here we go. Knee drops in 3, 2, 1. Here we go. Drop it to the side. Bring it back in, or drop it to the side. It's okay if you're really rolling onto that hip a little bit. You're just making sure that you're working with control and that you're finding a challenge for yourself. So if this feels really easy, work to straighten those legs, or maybe drop into the side, kicking low, coming around, and then switching it up. Yay, 30-second break, and then we've got our runner's crunch last time through. Begin. I'm on 5-second break. Can you really bring that opposite arm behind you like you would if you were a runner? Opposite arm, moving with opposite leg. I know this one is a lot more challenging than that last move, but you're worth it. You got 5 seconds left. 4, 3, 2, 1. Take a quick little break, and we've got those legs lifts. Go ahead, set yourself up for success right now and begin. You can do any sort of leg lifts you want. If you liked those timed leg lifts we did the other day where you stop along the way, go for it. With challenge comes change, so you got to think about doing things a little differently so your muscle memory doesn't completely take over. Yay! Great work, everyone. We made it through round 1. Oh, this is great. Next up, we got a move called the iron cross. All right, so go ahead, extend your arms all the way out to the side, about in line with our shoulder. We're gonna do this move on the front, and then we're gonna do the same thing on the back to get a little bit of a spine twist. I'm starting to sweat over here. All right, so we're gonna take that right leg, we're gonna cross it over our body, we're gonna bring it as close as we can towards the left hand, bring it back down, lift up the left leg, bring it as close as you can to your right hand. Awesome. Maybe you got some plants you're trying not to hurt. So you're working with control, you're not flailing around, it's an intentional lift and reach, starting to get a nice stretch through the side of the body while also working those obliques a little bit still. To control, bring it in like an extended version almost of those knee drops. You can think of those as a warm-up. Let's go ahead and get 2 more on each side. Oof. A little larger of a range of motion this time. It's a gloomy day outside in the District of Columbia. Here in Van Ness, I have no water. No water. Oops, sorry, plants. Yeah. Okay, so now we're gonna roll over onto our bellies. And once again, stretch your arms out to the side in a T. Awesome, and we're gonna do the same thing from on our bellies. So go ahead, bend up your left leg. You might need to bring your left hand in just a little bit to help you to roll over, touch your left toe to the floor. Take a breath or 2 here. Enjoy the stretch as it feels good for you. The more that you open the legs, the more you're gonna feel it on the inner thighs. If you close the legs, the more you start to feel it through the side of the body. And then let's roll over. So carefully, with control, just rolling from side to side. You might find that one side is a lot easier to get into and access than the other. I feel rolling this way feels a lot tighter than it does for me to just roll this way. Just rolling around, tossing and turning. Go ahead, get 1 more on each side. Ah, nice work. What's coming up next? Oh, we got some more great ab moves to continue. So let's go ahead and sit ourselves up. Well, let's just take a moment right here in Sukhasana in some sort of easy seated position. I want you to work to find that length through the crown of your head. Maybe you even need to take a little bit of a tilt of your pelvis forward just to get rid of the rounding, a little tilt forward, a little pull of the chest, engagement of those shoulder blades towards each other. My shoulders are down and back. My belly is pulled in nice and tight. And before you start the movement, really think about drawing your core in. Okay. For this next move, you can keep your hands on the floor to make it a little bit easier. We're gonna go for some lemon twists. I used to hate these in middle school, so if you hate these as an adult, that's totally fine. All right, so with your hands on the floor, we're gonna draw our knees over to one side, extend forward to the other side, extend forward, and then for funsies, we're gonna clamshell it open a little bit, both come in towards the chest. So to the left shoulder, right shoulder, to both shoulders. And you can work harder by keeping your hands off the floor, but if you find you're really collapsing through your chest, I want you to put them back down to get a little bit more length. Our second move is going to be a butterfly reach through. So starting to really bring that openness to your hips, keeping those hands, those feet on the floor, We're just gonna reach up, pulse it up, see how long we can pulse it for. If you need to, lower down for a second, and then just reach back through to pulse. And our last move is going to be a glute bridge with the clamshell. So lifting up, open, in, down. Oh yeah, I forgot. I said that we could wear these bands if we wanted to make things a little bit harder in round 2. So if you didn't think that seemed challenging enough and you have a band nearby to get a little bit more into those outer thighs particularly, let's go ahead and make it happen. First move is those lemon twists. 30 seconds of work, 5 seconds between. Starts in 3, 2, 1. Knees to your shoulder, knees to one shoulder, legs out. Knees to opposite shoulder, legs out. Clamshell and knees. Knees, clams, because, I don't really eat clams very often, but I think a little citrus at that party sounds delicious. And also, now I really want seafood. Kenley, make us some seafood. 3, 2, 1. Awesome. Next up, we got that butterfly reach through. So lay back, just reach through. You're working to get those shoulders off of the mat. Chin is a little tucked towards your chest, but not totally tucked towards your chest, and not stretching up towards the ceiling so there's no pain in the back of the head. Ooh, you can make it a little harder lifting those feet up off of the floor. Make sure that lower back stays down. Oh my goodness. Awesome. And then our last move is our glute bridge with the clamshell. So walk those feet in, lift up, open, in, down. Up, open, in, down. I hope you know that timer started. There's barely a break between each of these moves. You just get that break afterwards. I added in those 5 seconds between so that we have a little time to transition, because our moves are pretty short today. You can have your arms on the floor. You can challenge yourself a little bit more, stretching arms up towards the ceiling. It's going to require a little more balance. Oh, you ready for that 30-second break? Because it's here. You know what's coming up after the 30-second break? We got our lemon twists with the clamshell. Y'all ready for this? Great, because it starts in 10 seconds. So I'm going to sit myself up right now. I'm going to bring my arms towards the mat behind me so I'm ready to begin. Pull that belly in. Here we go. So knees to shoulder, stretch out. Knees to shoulder, clamshell. Knees to shoulder. We started. I might have started you a couple seconds early. That's okay, because you're worth it. If you love any of these moves, I encourage you, give yourself a 3rd round after class today. You can always rewatch this video. Ooh, yes, awesome. Take your 5-second break. We got that butterfly reach through, so just reach it through. Really drawing that belly in. You're still decreasing that space between your lower rib and your hip. That's how you know work is happening. Remember, you can lift those feet up off the floor. Oof. Make it a little bit harder, or a lot harder. I'm gonna vote for a lot. Awesome. Ready for those glute bridges? Plant those feet. Lift up and open. If you want to, you can just stay up and open. Just open and close. It's all a gentle roll towards the outside of the feet, but working to keep the big toes towards the floor. So again, nice little stretch through those ankles too. Remember, arms up towards the ceiling challenges balance even more, makes you use that core the most. Awesome. Lower yourself down. Ooh. Let's get rid of this band. All right, so coming into some more hip openers right now. Next up, we're going to go for a little half lotus. If you're not ready for a total half lotus, you're going to go for a seated tree. Awesome. So you might want to reach back, move your glutes out of the way. You can take a little bit of a forward hinge. You do not have to. All right. Go ahead, take that right foot and either work to bring the sole, the right foot close towards your inner thigh. Make sure you're not pressing against the knee. If that's still too tight for you, you can be a little bit more open. Or it's okay if your foot doesn't come all the way towards your quad. If you can though, if you can bring the sole of the foot towards your hip crease, find the range of motion that works for you. If you're still not feeling any sort of opening here, finding a little bit more of a forward hinge is gonna bring it to the party. Find some relaxation in your shoulders, just breathe through it. Let's go ahead, switch, same thing, opposite side. Might need to windshield wipe or bob your knees to release any tension. So either bringing the sole of the foot close towards the thigh, or adjusting your body as you need to. Or if you're feeling a little bit more loosey-goosey, working to bring the sole of the foot to your bikini line. It's okay if your knee is a little lifted. You can either apply a little pressure with your hand, make sure there's no pain though. If you're not feeling anything at all, you're finding that forward hinge. Oh, this feels so great. All right, we got 2 more stretches before we come into our final little core series. So next up, we're gonna go for double pigeon. We've done this one before. Go ahead, bend one of your legs. Work to get the shin parallel with the top of the mat or just some imaginary line that you've created. It is a little straight in front of you. And we're gonna take the other leg and we're gonna cross it just at the knee. Like we're hanging out at the park and we're talking. And now we're gonna sit that lifted glute down. As that glute sits down, it stacks one leg on top of the other. If your hips are really tight, you might not be able to get your glute to the floor. That's okay. Maybe you bring your hands behind you, just breathe into it. If you happen to have a prop nearby that you can use to help you work towards just relaxing here. Not saying it has to go any deeper. You can get a little into those calves, flexing your toes towards each other. Again, if you're not feeling it, take that forward hinge. Let's take 2 more breaths and then we'll switch to the other side. All right, once you finish that second breath, go ahead, uncross. Maybe you give yourself a windshield wipe here. I know if your hips and low back are really tight that these stretches can be hard. Do your best to get that opposite shin parallel with whatever you're making it parallel with. If it needs to fold in a little bit more, that's okay. It's practice. It's not perfect. Every day is different. Make sure you're not jamming your ankle bone into that opposite knee though. You can see I got lots of room for my feet to flex. Feeling a little tighter on this side today. Not surprised. I also found it harder to do that that twist on one side than the other. So take a couple deep breaths. Nice. And then go ahead, drag those feet open. Our last little stretch right here is this butterfly. Maybe you walk your feet in a little closer towards the center line. Maybe if that lower back is really hurting and you're really tight, you have your feet a little further away. Your practice does not have to look just like mine. I might be really flexible. Hypermobility is a problem too. When you're hypermobile, you really have to build that strength so that you can be in control. Where also, if you're really strong, you're working to build that flexibility to enjoy a larger range of motion. The grass is always greener, everyone. That's what I'm saying. The grass is always greener on the other side, or so we think. All right, let's go ahead and come up into tabletop for our last set of moves for today. We'll do one side and then the other. We're gonna go for hip circles. I'll let you know when you're halfway, because then I want you to change the direction of those hip circles. Then we're gonna go for a nice up and over, either with legs bent or legs crossed. And then we're gonna press up into down dog and come forward into plank and just switch between the two. We've done that before. I'll talk you through it when we get there. Let's not waste our time. Hip circles, whichever leg you wanna start with. 3, 2, 1. Awesome. So you're bringing a leg up, opening it, bringing it back in. Try not to rotate too much side to side. We are halfway through, so go ahead, change direction of those hip circles. Getting a little work in those glutes. Make sure that belly is still really pulled in. No extra wrinkles in your neck. Eyes down on the floor. Awesome. Same leg that you just used, either extended or you can do this with knee bent. Lift it up and over. Keep those hips square to the mat. So really think about whether you're opening big time towards the side. We're not rolling into an assisted side plank. We're getting a nice little glute kickback up and over. Do you feel that glute firing? Are you getting a little tired in the hamstring? I know I am. Awesome. Next up, we're going to tuck our toes under. Send your hips up towards the ceiling in down dog. Take a moment, pedal through your down dog, and then shift the weight forward into your plank. Hang out in plank, squeeze shoulder blades together, hips squared, then back to down dog. You can pedal through, get that nice calf stretch, and then back to your plank. Set yourself up, squeeze those shoulders, draw your belly in. Oh yeah. Awesome. Bring your knees to the floor, send your hips back towards your heels. We'll take this break in child's pose. Get that nice stretch for your shoulders. If it's too much for you to have your arms straight, take a generous bend of your elbows, relax your head to the floor, relax your breath. All right, come on back up to tabletop, set yourself up, get ready for your hip circles, other leg, begin. So you're working to bring that knee up in line with your hip the best that you can. Up, out, and around. Just a couple more seconds, and we've made it to halfway, so change the direction. Ooh, yeah. Try not to lean too much side to side, so equal pressure through those hands, palms, nice flat back, eyes to the floor. Great work. Awesome. Either keeping that knee bent or extending your leg up and overs begin right now. So not just kicking your heel up towards the ceiling, squeezing your glute to get that leg to lift. I know today was a fast workout, but you're probably feeling it through that lower half of your body. I know I am. 5 seconds left. 3, 2, 1. Awesome. Tuck your toes under. Send those hips up. Come into that down dog. Find your pedal. Beautiful. And then pull it forward. You can keep these knees bent in your down dog if you need to. A little bit more of a child's pose down dog. But as you come into that plank, I want you to shift the weight forward. Squeeze your shoulders, draw your belly in. So each time you come into that plank, you're really thinking about your form. You're bringing those hips down in line with or below shoulders. Coming out of your down dog. Awesome. Drop your knees to the floor. Send your hips back towards the ceiling. In the back of the mat. Take 3 big breaths here. Slow your heart rate down with your head below your heart. That is all the time that we have for today, y'all. I'm going to carefully get us up off of the floor. So go ahead, shift back into your tabletop, tuck your toes under, send your hips up towards the ceiling. Keep your hips low as you walk your hands towards your feet. Turn your toes out, heels in, take a moment, drop down into a squat. You might even want to shift the weight gently side to side. I know I love to shift the weight side to side, especially if you're having trouble getting both of your heels down in the squat. Totally okay. One last stretch into the quads, into the glutes. Awesome. Find some stillness, send your hips up towards the ceiling. You can keep your feet right where they are or heel toe them in closer towards each other. Shift the weight into your heels. Your knees can bend, belly on thighs. Relax your head all the way to the floor. Find a little extra length. If your hands can't touch, grab your hold of your elbows. And then one last time, engage those shoulders towards each other. Create some space. Shoulders away from ears. Take a moment, shake your head yes. Shake your head no. Maybe even rock your body gently side to side. One last stretch through the back of the legs. Come back through center and then carefully roll yourself up. Tuck that pelvis under. Shoulders over hips. Down and back. Big inhale, arms up towards the ceiling. Exhale, arms down by your side. Take one more big breath together. We're worth it. Inhale, stretch all the way up. Maybe even look up, get that extra stretch in your belly, and then exhale, arms down. Yay! Can you believe it, y'all? Got a little sweaty, got a little stretch in. Hopefully you're just feeling better. Ready to tackle the rest of the day. If you have any questions or concerns about anything that I said or that we did, I hope that you'll reach out. Have a wonderful rest of your day, y'all. Keep preparing for that 5K coming up October 27th, either in house or virtual. I know you can do it. We can do it together.